Now let's take a look at someone quite a bit different than Mr. Obama, because this person is probably of just about equal fame, but a different type of fame. And the person I want to look at now, Sarah, is Howard Stern. So let's take a look at him, and I'm going to let you do it, Sarah. I'm going to help you. I will be here to help you and help you with the letters and so forth. And if you have any questions, ask me. But for the most part, I'd like you to do it because I feel that you represent the person watching, in the sense that they're new to this and they're learning, and they know at this point as much as you do because they've been experiencing it with you, learning with you. And so I feel that as you do it, anything that's kind of tripping you up or anything that's maybe unclear will be revealed, and it's probably something that's maybe unclear to the person watching, or maybe they need more work with or so forth. So let's have you do this and have you work through it. So Howard Stern, his name is Howard Allen Stern.
Okay, is that one L or two L's?
Two L's, two L's. Howard Allen Stern.
All right, so just in the middle here. We're
right.
gonna need room below.
Right. Let's put his name right about here and the birth date here.
Okay.
Ideally, when you do it, as Sarah's writing, I would like you to use a long sheet of paper and maybe several sheets. The way we're doing it here is just for instructional purposes. A-L-L-A-N. Yep. And then Stern. We're doing it for E-R-N. For instructional purposes, we're putting it all in one spot so you can see it all. But when you do it, you can use multiple sheets of paper. That may be easier for you.
And what's the
Howard
birthday?
Allen Stern. Howard Allen Stern's birthday is January 12th, 1954. Okay, so that's it. That's all we've got. And we've got to figure everything else out based on this. So why don't we put a little box over here, and so we'll know what we're going for. Now, as you know, there are all kinds of things you can go for here. We're going to keep it very straightforward and go ahead and let's put a line here. Okay, so what I'd like you to do is we're going to look at life path.
Should I just put an L?
L is fine. Life path, expression. Let me let you fill in the rest. What else you got?
Life path, express, soul urge.
Soul urge.
And there was another one. Was it it wasn't karma.
Happy to
the birthday.
Yep, there you go. All right.
Okay,
good.
Because that's always the same, right?
Yes.
So like this is because we've got the core.
The core, right?
And the
sub elements. Right. Okay. Now let's erase this. And the reason we're doing that is to show that these are completely, these are separate.
They don't correspond at all.
Right.
Totally separate.
A little bit of correspondence in the birthday. There's they're the same, but otherwise they're not related to each other.
Okay.
So there we go. So you should, hopefully you're drawing along with Sarah, and you've got the core elements and the sub elements. And we'll talk about how we get those in a moment. But this is a great way to start, because now you know where you're going. Instead of just drawing a bunch of numbers and letters everywhere, you're drawing them for the purpose of getting some information right here that you're going to analyze. Okay, so now we want to get the life path and the expression and the soul urge and the birthday. And we also want to get the sub-elements. Remember, with the sub-elements, there are only 3 of them. So let's actually get rid of one of the boxes just so we remember. Let's actually take out the top one, because the birthday's going to be there.
Yeah.
Okay. And you don't have to do it this way. This is just a way that I feel makes sense. Okay, so now we have something that we can look at. We know what we're going for. So let's start filling things in. Well, we can go ahead and do the birthday right away, because we know that that's 12.
3.
Will be 3. Yep.
Should I erase that? Okay.
Yes.
That's right.
And that's okay, because if you're doing that, then that might be something someone else is doing.
Yeah.
So this is a learning opportunity. Okay, there we go. That was the easy part. Now we've got to do a little bit of math and so forth. So, all right, let's go ahead and calculate the life path based on the date of birth.
Okay, so January is the first month, right?
Right.
So that's a 1, and then 1 plus 9 is 10, plus 5 is 15, plus 4 is 19.
Right.
So then I add them all together, right?
Well, not
Like
yet.
1 plus 3 plus...
And I'm glad you mentioned that. If
I
you
make
did
this a
that,
10?
it may actually work out. But sometimes if you have a master number in there, which I don't see one, or if you may have had one, it could potentially cause some challenges. So what you want to do is reduce each column individually.
Oh, okay.
So this will actually
So
reduce
this would be
to
a 10, which would be a 1.
right.
Okay, and then
Okay.
I add 1 and 3 and 1.
Yes.
So that would be 5.
Right. Very good. And
Which
so
is
that
the life path.
yes, very good.
Okay.
Okay. Now the expression. How do we get that?
Was it the first name?
That no, but the first name is something.
I don't remember.
Okay, that's fine. The expression is from all of the letters of all of the names
all of
reduced
them.
to one single number.
Okay.
So now we've got a little bit of work ahead of us.
Should I make some lines?
Yes,
Okay.
we'll go ahead and make lines. And along the path, while we're doing this, we can also add the... What can we add, Sarah? What can we do while we're doing this?
The vowels?
Yes. And what do the vowels
Is
give us?
that the expression?
The expression will be all
I
the
mean
letters.
the soul urge?
Yes.
Okay.
So we can calculate the soul urge, or at least put the numbers up there, while we're doing the numbers for the expression. Okay, so I'm going to help you out a little bit here. You can refer back to your chart. You have a chart of all of the numbers, what they mean for all of the letters. Perhaps you've drawn your own, but I'm going to help you out a little bit here. So H is 8. O is 6. W is 5. A is 1. R is 9. D is 4. A is 1. L is 3. 2 L's. N is 5. S is 1. T is 2. E is 5. R is 9. And N is 5. Okay. Now I've used my chart to calculate that. Now I'm going to double check. It's important at this point. We've been doing this ahead of time to get it up on the board for you so that you have it. But it's really important to check it to make sure that you have these right before you start saying that's the expression and you start saying things based on the expression. Turns out you're talking about a completely different person because the numbers weren't right. So let's double check the numbers. Okay, so call out the numbers, and I will call out the letters that you have for the numbers, and I will check on my chart again.
Okay, so H is 8.
Yes.
O is 6.
Yes.
W is 5.
W, yes.
A is 1.
Yes.
R is 9.
R is, yes.
D is 4.
Yes.
A is 1.
Yes.
L is 3.
L is 3, yes.
N is 5.
N is, yes.
S is 1.
Yes.
T is 2.
Yes.
E is 5.
Yes.
R is 9.
R is, yes.
And N is 5.
N is
Okay.
5, yes.
Okay.
Okay, so you see how I had to look there? I had to look at a chart to double check it. I don't have that memorized. So that's fine. You don't have to have that memorized. No one's going to expect you at a party to calculate the expression and the soul urge from your head. If you get that good, you let me know, and we may have some work for you. But you don't have to. You can. That's something that you do as part of a reading. You're looking at a chart. It's okay. You're looking at a chart. You're just getting the information you need to do your job. Okay. But this, the life path, you can do in your head. With a little bit of practice, you can learn to do this in your head. It's only 3 numbers you need to keep separate, then combine them. Okay, so now we've got that. Now we got something we can look at, and we've also along the way make sure we got all the vowels. We've got all the vowels taken care of. So we're ready to calculate 2 more parts of the core. We're ready to calculate the expression based on all the letters, and we're ready to calculate the soul urge based on just the vowels. So let's go ahead and do that. And remember, as we go, we do column by column.
Right, so we add these first.
Right.
And then these instead of going all the way across, right?
Right.
Just one at a time. Okay, so, math is not my strongest suit, so let's see here. Okay, 8 plus 6 is 14. So plus 5 is 19, 20, 29, 33.
Yes.
Okay.
I know that because I calculated it ahead of time.
Well,
Otherwise,
thank goodness you did. Otherwise, we might be in trouble. Okay.
Otherwise, I'd have to add everything.
Okay. So 3 and 3 is 6, plus 1 is 7, plus 1 is 8, 9, 10, so 13?
Yes.
Okay, whoops. And, okay, over here, whoops. Oh, man.
Okay.
Okay.
Math can be like that.
Should I move this a little so that I have room? Maybe the S?
Sure.
I'll move the S down here.
Now, when you do this, like I said, you can use several sheets of paper if you want. So maybe you want to have this on another sheet of paper. If we had it on another board, it wouldn't be helpful to you. It's helpful to you to have it all together here, but make your work easy for yourself.
Okay, so 1 plus 2 is 3, plus 5 is 8, plus 9 is 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22.
Yes.
Okay.
I looked at my previous work, and that's now. Let's take a moment here and look at what we have, because in numerology you can analyze all kinds of numbers if you want. You can get carried away and so forth. But we've got a few things going on here. First of all, some schools of numerology will teach that 33 is the highest master number rather than 22. I don't look at it that way because first of all, it's not that common. Second of all, it's there's really no. I believe the 33 started showing up in numerology, so they kind of made an exception for it and said, well, this must be something, and it is a doubled number. But I personally do not acknowledge the 33 as a master number, but some schools of numerology do. At any rate, either way in our calculation, this will be washed in somehow. So we do have a commonly recognized master number that no one disputes, which is the 22 showing up here. So we're not going to do anything with it now, but I do want to point out that it is showing up, so that it does mean something. There is a 22 there, which is a master builder number, and Stern just sounds like a master builder kind of name, like I'm sternly going to get things done. That's interesting, but it is there. So I do want to point it out. Anytime you see a master number, it's nice when you point it out. You say, hey, you have some master number here. It's kind of like I'm 1/9, I believe it is, American Indian. I don't seem to be American Indian when you look at me, but I have a little bit of American Indian in me. I believe it's Cherokee. And so it's interesting when, if someone were doing my ancestry, if they point that out, how it figures into my daily life, it really doesn't. I don't seem to be a Cherokee person. American Indian Cherokee. I don't do anything that a person of that culture would do, but it is interesting to me to know that I have that as part of my heritage. That's kind of where numbers along the way fall. It's interesting to point them out, although in the big picture they may not have a major effect on the daily life like the life path number would have. Life path number would be far more significant. Okay, so let's keep on reducing. Remember, 33 we're not acknowledging as a master number. It becomes a 6. Okay. 13.
4.
Okay, and I'll stop giving you direction now.
Okay, so we do reduce this?
We do not. That is an acknowledged master number.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So then now we add them all.
Right.
Because we're going for the expression. So 10. So 32.
32.
And then that equals a 5?
Yes.
Oops. Let me just put 5.
Now you may be thinking at this point, what's the difference? What if Sarah had made this into a 4? What would have happened? It would have
been 14. 6 plus 4 is 10 plus 4 is 14. Still would have been a 5 in this case.
It's still right. It still would have been a 5, except that you would have had a 14 beforehand.
Right, which is a karma number.
Very interesting.
Karmic debt number, right?
Right. You would have caused Mr. Stern to have some karma. And if you're doing a reading for him, then you would have gone into great detail about how one of his core numbers has some karma, and it really doesn't.
When it turns out he's a master builder
instead,
right. Which is opposite.
He's got some master builder in him. He's got some Cherokee in him. But yeah, It's not. But it doesn't factor in prevalently, powerfully in the
Okay.
scheme of things. Just like I don't look like an American Indian Cherokee. Howard Stern. Actually, well, Howard Stern actually does look like a master builder when you think about it, because he's built quite an empire for himself. So his master builderness may factor in more prevalently than we think. Another good reason to point it out, because Howard Stern may be looking at, so far what we've got coming up on the board is freedom, and having a good time,
Yeah.
which is what Howard Stern's about. But he's also built an empire, and we must acknowledge that. So we've got a hint of that in there. Okay, so let's carry on.
Okay. Next is the soul urge.
Yes.
So that's the vowels, right?
Yes.
So I'm just adding. Well, first I add each individually.
Yes.
Right. Instead. Okay.
Right,
So
each
the
column.
first name is 7. 6 plus 1 is 7.
Right.
This one is 2, and this is just a 5. So then 7, 8, 9 plus 5 is 14. So that's a 5.
Okay.
Right. 2 of 5.
Right.
Wow. Look at that.
Interesting,
5, 5, 5,
huh?
3. Wow.
Okay, so
And he does have a karmic.
oh, there we go. Let's put a little K next to. Let's put a little 14 in parentheses next to that, just so we know that we're dealing with a karmic number. Okay, so we're not in the expression, and in the life path, we had a 5.
A 19, isn't that?
Well,
another one?
this came from here. This was actually washed out. There is one
Oh.
way back there, but it's not what.
It's so far removed. that
Right,
you
it's
don't-
kind of like the 22.
Okay.
So it's not something that came as the final number. If this
Right.
is a 19, right before we got the 5,
gotcha.
it would be, of course, a 1. But if it were the case, then we would say that that's a karmic number as part of the core, which would, of course, be
Okay.
important for us. But it's kind of washed out. So
Okay.
when you see something like that, maybe you don't want to necessarily point out. Something like this is great to point out, 22, even though it's not that prevalent. It's kind of in there, but not that prevalent. If you see some karma, some potential karma number somewhere along the way, you can point it out or not, but realize it's just not that prevalent, so you don't really have to point it out. Why bring someone down, especially when it's not even part of the core. But this one would definitely be pointed out. We'd definitely point out this karmic number. So let's go ahead and fill in our sub-elements.
Okay. I forgot what. Was it?
Yep.
Something up here? Is it just the month and?
Yep. It's the month, and so it's the month, the day, which we already have,
Uh-huh.
and the year.
So that's another 1.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. So he has a karmically derived sub-element. We're primarily concerned, though, as we move forward, we're primarily concerned with the karma showing up in the core, because that's where it's really going to get you. Now, okay, I'm not going to lead you. What do you see?
I see a whole lot of 5s.
Okay.
And 2 3s and 2 1s. So 5 is freedom, right?
Yes.
And 3 is joy.
Right.
And 1 is independence.
Right.
So and then I'm trying to remember the good. There's good and bad, not bad, but there's sort of positive and negative aspects to each number, right?
Right.
So 5, so freedom. Okay, joy was I remember for sure that was the positive aspect was now I can't remember. I remember it when I'm studying that, but not when I'm on camera.
Okay, 3 is joy of living.
Okay.
And the negative side of that is that you can get too caught up in that.
Right.
And the positive side of that is that you can
You're like
share it with
fun-loving.
everyone.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
But in a moment, we're going to look at how Howard may actually be working against himself.